you're stuck soloing, you're stuck knowing what it means to solo or improvise, I want you to just first of all take a minute, take a deep breath, because this video is going to explain everything for you. All the things that one of the things that is making you like stuck is because of the explanation or the picture you have in your head. And the reason for this live stream is just to help you break it down into bits. So take soloing as a body. Let's take soloing as cooking, right? So let's say you're cooking food, right? When you're cooking food, it involves different ingredients. So sometimes we are lost knowing what ingredient to use at what point and what ingredient to use at what point, right? There are some food stuff that you can just use only one ingredient to cook. There are some that you can use different ingredients but to arrive at the same result, right? That's how soloing works. Soloing can be done using different elements. So a lot of you are usually stuck thinking soloing is just about only scales. Is it only just pentatonic scale? What scale do I use? Is it my major scale? And don't worry. In this video, I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you different options you are going to use. So either you use so let's start from the steps. So first of all, if you are trying to solo, right, the first thing you should look out for is to be sure you understand the chord progression. If you're just running this live stream, you can drop a comment so I give you a shout out. Yeah. So when you're trying to solo, right, the first thing you should do is to look out for the chord progression. Be sure you understand the chord progression, right? So if something like this is playing, I want to be sure that I understand what's playing in the background. Like, I won't even start thinking about soloing. The first thing to do, I won't start thinking about soloing. I'll think of, okay, what are the chords playing in the background? So we have, right? So the first thing I'll do is, like, I'll tell myself, oh guy, do you know the chords that are playing in the background? Number one, if I know it, that's one step ahead. Then the second thing to do now, so now that I've learned the chord progression, we've known that, okay, these are the chords. Okay, we have different options. We have, okay, can I use my chords? Can I use my scales to solo? Okay, can I use my triads to solo? Can I use pentatonic scale to solo? Can I use a major scale to solo? These are the options you are placed with. So before you start, ask yourself those questions. But to start immediately, start with the easiest one, which is, which is the major scale. So let's start with the major scale. So after knowing your chords, right, let's go straight to the scales. Now, the major scale, I'm playing the C major scale. The C major scale is from, like, once you just know how to play your C, right? Right? You know how to play your major scale. Our advice that you should know different position of your major scale. So this first shape, right? Now wherever this one ends, you play, you make sure you know this one, this shape. The reason why I'm saying you should learn multiple shapes is so that you have different options to work with. So now that you've learned your major scale, okay, you know the chords that are playing in the background, right? Then you have an option of two different scale positions. You have and you have, right? The first thing you do now is to learn how to play your scale in a melodic way. All right? Okay, I'm seeing someone asking a question. Your question is how you can use the major scale and C major chord and how to play over keys. All right, I'm going to address that. So this chord is playing. So what you can do, learn how to improvise with your major scale. What I mean is this. Learn how to play it in different order. Like, let's start with it not making sense at all. Just learn how to play it in different, like, order first. So let's say my Do you understand? Like I'm just playing the notes randomly. I'm playing the notes randomly. Learn how to do that first. When you begin to do that, your mind begins to open to see different possibilities. That's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is to ensure that you play this skill in a way that it sounds like a voice singing, right? So instead of playing instead of this, what you can do is to make it sound like melodic. So to create different melodies. Like I'm playing the notes randomly, but I'm playing it in a way that it sounds like somebody singing. The next step to use is to learn, is to play around this same concept that I did. I'm going to use this different shape to play the same thing. So I'm doing. So I'm playing and making sure they sound singable, right? Now, once you've been able to do that, it means you have one element already to use that you can use to solo. That's our major skill in two different positions. The other thing to learn is another skill. Now, before we start soloing, we would like to have different options. I want us to think of it like, okay, before I attack this thing, let me have different options to work with. Because imagine you want to start soloing and you have just one idea in your head, just the major scale, for example. Like you are going to be limited in a way. You're going to be limited. But imagine you have the major scale, the pentatonic scale, and different options. When you are soloing, like already your mind can just pick from that multiple of options, right, to work with. So what I want you to do is to let's do the same thing we did, but now with the pentatonic scale. What's the pentatonic scale? All you have to do, come here. I'm playing here. This is my A minor pentatonic. I'm on my 5th fret here. So right? Let me go again. Right? Now that's my pentatonic scale. So the same concept of trying to make my scale sound singable, this thing is called the melodic approach. I'm going to use my pentatonic and make it sound singable. Now don't worry, we're going to show how you can use all these things to solo. We're trying to get these elements in beats first, alright? So I have something like sense. Like instead of playing my note, my scale, my pentatonic scale, instead of playing it like an exercise, so I'm just playing around the note. Does that make sense? Right? Please, if you are watching this video and you're understanding, drop a comment. I want to be sure you're watching and you can hear me properly. Please drop a comment. Drop a comment. And if you have any questions now, this is the time. Drop the question. I'm just teaching you how to solo, the options you can use, the tips you should learn to get started with soloing. So Please drop a comment so I can continue. All right. Right? All right, thank you. You can hear me. So, all right. So after you learn this skill, right? Now, what we are going to do, this approach, right? Okay, somebody's asking. So it's all about moving with the skills, making musical sense of the melody. Yes, that's one level, right? So the first approach, right, is to know the skills. Okay, so if you know the skills, try not to play them like random exercise. Just try to play them in a way that makes musical sense. That is called the melodic approach to soloing, right? So imagine you have different options of skills. Your major skill, your pentatonic skill. Just try to, before you play over any chord progression at all, try to make it sound musical on your own when you're practicing your try and play it in a way that it sounds musical. So my do you understand? Just play it in a way that it sounds musical. What that does to your mind is to open you up to see different options. Like the melodies, right? They begin to sound musical. So when the chord comes, when you begin to play the chord progression, it sounds better. Okay, someone is asking, if you move up the fret using position C major, it makes it D flat major. Yeah, makes it D flat major. All right. Now the next option we are going to do, after you've learnt these skills, right? After you've learnt your pentatonic, the next thing you're going to do is to listen to the chord progression. Ask yourself, oh, this chord progression that is playing, what are the notes that make up this chord? I'm arriving somewhere. I want to explain something. So let's say this is the chord progression we're playing. We have approach will require you to know each note that is in a particular chord. Let me take it again. This approach requires you to know the string, the note in a particular chord. So when the chord progression is playing, we have C, right? All I have to do is ask myself, what notes make up my C major? So let me write it down for you. Right? So your C major, I don't know if you can see it. My C major is made up of my C, E, and G. Can you see? I hope you can see this clearly. I hope you can see clearly. My C, E, and G. My C, E, and G, right? Now, the next note is what? G. My G is made up of G, B, and D. So, write it like this. G, B, D, C, E, G, and all that. That's what I'm doing first, in order to understand soloing. Then my F is made up of F, A, and C. All right. Okay, somebody's asking, how do you remember the notes on the fretboard? I've dropped a video on how to understand the fretboard. See, the easiest thing on the fretboard, right, is to know where notes are located, and then there are indicators on the fretboard to help you. Can you see these dots? These dots are not just there for design. They are just indicators, right? This here, this is where your C is located. This is your D. This is your E. Let me help you understand something. guitar ends here. This is one thing I just figured out. The guitar ends here. Like everything from here to here. Like imagine here, the guitar starts from here again. The same thing that starts from here, right? This is it here. I don't know if that makes sense. So if I'm playing my F here, my F is here. Just take it as my guitar ends here, where these two dots are. This indicates the beginning of another part of the fretboard. So these things are called indicators. I've dropped a video explaining how to understand the fretboard, so check it out. Sorry, I need to move very fast. So understanding, you have to break down the chord progression like this. So I've broken it down. I have my C. C is made up of C, E, and G. My G is made up of G, B, and D. My F is made up of F, A, and C, right? So now, using the singable melody approach, all I have to do is to look for these notes on the fretboard. So remember, this is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And remember, our C is what? Our C is C, E, G, right? So I'm going to play my C, E, G, C, E, G. Yeah. So these three notes make up my C. Then my G is made up of G, B, D. Once you learn this skill, you can be able to identify them here. Don't worry. So this is my G and D. Right? Then my F is here under my C. Right? So all I'm going to do is to pick these notes individually. So when the chord progression is going, up each chord. So it sounds something like this. This is making sense. Let me know in the comment section. Into different parts. So this part, I'm simply playing the notes that make up my chord. So all I have to do now is to play it in different order. Right? Alright, my battery just went down, so I'm going to do a part 2 of this very soon, and I'm going to continue explaining how to solo. So make sure you watch the next video. These ones are just techniques. So see you in the next video.